let's get started. So yesterday, okay, just save it. Can you please? Yeah, I am recording. I am recording it. And this is our folder. So okay, so we are now in user access. Okay, let me check that server. చెప్తున్నాడేమో. Okay, we can't do anything. Okay, let's do the tasks. To read our variables, we need to create one more XML command, XML thing. Okay, so you need to open our credentials here. Okay, we need to create two variables for that. One is here we have what password thing. Just we need two variables to read them. Okay, so one is user ID. Where is my user ID? Last one. Okay, so let's do. These are two value type variables I'm creating. Okay, so to read only user ID and password. Okay, as you know, let's give it session name as login credentials. Login credentials, and the file is going to be this one. For now, we haven't encrypted that file yet, so we'll do it once after completing it. This is going to be our login credentials. Okay, and open. So as I said, we need to change the path to AA application path here. You know, right? Why we will change it to AA application path? If you don't know, just tell me. Okay, so the next thing is we are going to do is getting those nodes, two nodes. Okay, so what is that node name we have created? Slash configuration slash configuration slash what is that you give? User ID. Okay, user ID to user ID. The same way password, right? Huh?
Configuration spelling.
Fine. Okay. ఈ స్పెల్లింగ్స్ కూడా చూసుకోవాలి, సో బీ కేర్ఫుల్ వైల్ డూయింగ్ ఇట్. Definitely we need to check those spellings exactly, and the case also. Like XML file is case sensitive, so we need to be careful. Right? Oh, sorry. Okay. Anyway, in the same way for password also. So, okay, we got those two details. Now, these three details, let's encrypt that file, and we'll try by using the encryption. Anyway, our server is still down. Okay, let's wait for some time. Let's try to encrypt that file by using preface. Okay, here I am. First, I want to encrypt it. After encrypting and decrypting, whether we can able to read it or not, we need to check it, right? So let's check it. I'm giving my encryption source file is going to be login credentials. Okay, and I am changing that to inside temp folder. Okay, the encrypted file is going to be inside temp folder. So let's overwrite files and folders, and if I save it and if I run it, let's see whether it's going to encrypt. If it is encrypting, will encrypt. Okay, inside my temp folder, I have a file. It is encrypted, so we need to decrypt it. So here I am creating one more folder with the login credentials. So only we will decrypt it once after reading those values, and we need to delete it. Okay. So same way, login details. So here I am going to give keep the decrypted file. Okay. So let's try that decryption. So preface is going to be 1234. Source file is going to be our temp4 is in temp folder. Okay, same. Automation anywhere, and my task. Sorry, in my tasks, we went my tasks. Let's see if I run this command. Definitely, I think we need to do those two commands at a time only. Like this. So we got our encrypted one. So this one we are going to use now. So I am deleting that particular thing, whatever the credential one is there inside our ROB here. This is the actual one which we created. So I am in place of that, we are going to use this one now. So this is the encrypted one. It will not show anything, any details if I edit also. So instead of that, we are going to use that one. Okay. So user access configuration. Let me. Okay. Okay. So okay. Here I will have that one as a backup, that login credentials, and I will delete it from our user access. Okay, anyway, it's gone. Now I'm going to keep that encrypted file over here. This is the encrypted one, right? So that is going to be inside our configuration, and the decrypted file, whenever we are going to read those credentials, it will be inside our login credentials. Otherwise, in the temp folder, we will keep it inside our temp folder itself. Okay, I don't want another folder over here. So let's delete. Okay, so now we need to code it. Anyway, we got our server up, so let's start with. This is going to be this task. This is one over here itself. Or before going to our Qt, I mean into the portal URL, I'm just adding three lines. So it's gonna give you user ID and password. Just I need to change the location over here. This is going to be our path from where we need to read our, sorry, we have a file for it, symbol file over there. Anyway, with the same name it is going to create. So this is the one which we are going to use. So inside temp folder also I will keep this just to give that file. Okay, it is an encrypted file, but once after giving my file path I will delete it. Okay, it's an encrypted file. If you use also, it won't show any, our bot will fail. Okay, so automation and web files, delete it. F2A application. Okay, so this is the one way from where we are going to read our from the temp location. Okay, inside MyDocs, from the temp location we are going to read it. Okay, so let me delete that file from our temp location. So whenever we are going to decrypt that, so before reading itself, we need to decrypt that particular file now. So let's add the decryption code. Okay, here, over here. So we are going to configuration file, our main configuration file. That is our key. This based on this key only, it is going to encrypt it. So login key. Okay. So based on this, whatever we are going to use, this will be used as to decrypt that file. So slash and let me give anything like user access. Okay, this is going to be the key. Okay, so let's save it and let's read it in our configuration file. Going to be our configuration file, that is start value calculator, sorry, user access AOB. Okay, so here we need to add one more thing, user access login key, str login key. So this value we are going to get it from the configuration file, and we will pass it to that configuration, that decryption code whenever we are going to use our decryption. So we are going to add. So let me inside configuration our node name. What is that node name we have created? Login key. Okay. So and I am assigning it to our login key. So here I am going to get that. So once after reading configuration only, we are going to call our login user access. So here I am first line I am going to use is decrypt that file to the temp location. Whatever the encrypted file is there inside our configuration file, this is the encrypted file. Okay. So I am going to decrypt it to temp file location from the temp file location using this key. Okay. I am going to decrypt it, and after decrypting I am reading it. Simple. Yeah.
temp location delete చేసావు కదా కానీ ఇక్కడ encrypted first line XML ఫైల్ లో పెట్టాం
ఎక్కడ
ఫస్ట్ లైన్ బిఫోర్ ఎర్రర్ హ్యాండింగ్ ఫస్ట్ లైన్ లో
yes
temp ఫైల్ లో encrypted ఫైల్ ఉంది
అవును
అది యాడ్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఫస్ట్ లైన్ యాడ్ చేసి డిలీట్ చేస్తారు రన్ చేసినప్పుడు అది ఏ లొకేషన్ లో తీసుకున్న ఫైల్ ఉండదు కదా
ఏ లొకేషన్ అక్కడ రన్ చేయట్లేదు కదా ఇప్పుడు నీకు రన్ చేసే టైం కు ముందు లైన్ ఇప్పుడు ఇంకో లైన్ యాడ్ చేస్తాను ఇక్కడ రన్ చేసే ముందు ఆ ఫైల్ ఏదైతే ఉందో డిక్రిప్షన్ ఫైల్ ఆ ఫైల్ క్రియేట్ అయిపోతుంది కదా డీక్రిప్షన్ చేసినప్పుడు ఆటోమేటిక్ గా ఎన్క్రిప్షన్ లొకేషన్ నుంచి డీక్రిప్ట్ చేయమని ఇప్పుడు కమాండ్ యాడ్ చేస్తాం లైన్ నెంబర్ 10 తర్వాత
ఎన్క్రిప్షన్ ఫైల్ లో అంటే ఆ లైన్ లో ఎన్క్రిప్షన్ యాడ్ చేస్తాం ఫైల్ లో ఎన్క్రిప్షన్ లో
ఇది ఎన్క్రిప్షన్ ఫైల్ అని ఇప్పుడు ఫైల్ వస్తుంది చూడు అక్కడికి ఆటోమేటిక్ ఇప్పుడు ఒక ఫైల్ వస్తుంది అక్కడికి సో డీక్రిప్ట్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తున్నాను ఫస్ట్ లైన్ ఇప్పుడు రీడ్ చేయక ముందు డీక్రిప్ట్ చేస్తున్నాను డీక్రిప్ట్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఆటోమేటిక్ గా మనకి సో సారీ need to same variable login key copy to here. Okay, so there is no file inside temp file location, but we are telling our robot to read that file from the temp file location. So we need to create that file. So this command which we are going to use as a decryption is going to create that file now. Okay, by using this key whatever we have used when we are encrypting it, so the same key, using that same key we are going to, so source file is the one which is inside our config folder, user access control. This is the encrypted file. Okay, this is the encrypted file which I am change names also, like first one is the encrypted one, login credentials underscore encrypted .xml, and the decrypted one is going to be login credentials underscore decrypted. If you want like that also you can do. It is not compulsory that you need to have the same name in each and everywhere. If you want clarity you can change it and try. If you have any issues let me know. Okay, you can change these names also if you want. While decrypting, if you want me to change, I will change it to decrypted and I will pass decrypted in the next command while reading it. Okay, it will be clear I think. Okay, well, okay, where is that? Libraries, documents. Files. Tomorrow I will create a shortcut. I don't want to open all the files again and again. Okay. User access ROP. Here we need to create it. Okay. Inside this temp folder. Okay. So if you want a file name, okay, we can give. If you want, you can give it also. Otherwise, it is going to create with the same name. Okay. Just leave it for now. We will do it in the later sessions if you want. So what is the two things we need to change over here? The first one is, as I said, you can read it also from the configuration file. We are not reading temp file location path. Okay, a application path. If you want, you can pass this whole thing as a variable itself. For now, right now, I am just changing that to a application path. Like we did while reading our Excel file, we did three things: input text, we will pass first a application path, then our Excel path, input Excel path, then Excel name. If you want, you can move this value to this value also to the configuration file. Okay, you can do this if you want. If you think this is going to be changed in future, move this to configuration file and read it from there. Okay, to our main configuration file. Okay, and save it. So this one is going to create our decrypted file, and we are going to decrypt it. We will have the decrypted file over inside our temp file location with the same name, and it is going to give us the user ID and password. Once after that, we need to delete it.
XML first line.
XML first line. Yes.
ఇప్పుడు అది డీక్రిప్ట్ ఫస్ట్ లైన్ డీక్రిప్ట్ చేశాను కదా, డీక్రిప్ట్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఇక్కడ ఉన్నది ఇప్పుడు డీక్రిప్ట్ అయిన లైన్ లాగిన్ క్రెడెన్షియల్స్.
yes, ఇది డీక్రిప్ట్ అయిన ఫైల్ ఇలా క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది. ఇందాక చూసాం మనం టెంపరీ ఒక కావాలంటే ఒక క్రియేట్ చేసుకొని చూసాం మనం. ఈ సేమ్ కమాండ్ యూస్ చేస్తే డీక్రిప్ట్ అని యూస్ చేస్తే ఇక్కడ ఒక ఫైల్ క్రియేట్ అయిపోయింది. సపోజ్ కాపీ. ఓకే, if I copy that and just now we saw it, if I run it, automatically decrypt అయితే ఆ ఫైల్ ఆటోమేటిక్ గా టెంప్ ఫైల్ లొకేషన్ లోకి వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఆ ఫైల్ తీసుకొని రీడ్ చేస్తున్నాం. వన్స్ ఆఫ్టర్ దట్ we are deleting it simply. So before that we need to add some more conditions, because if we got our key empty from, so just don't add that one. But if you don't have decrypted file inside our temp file location, we need to stop our process, because without credentials there is no point we are going to the our website. Okay, so without decrypted file you don't have to we should not proceed. So let's add, once after decryption, let's add one more command saying that if file exists inside our temp file location. Sorry. Inside our temp file location, we should have one more same file with the login credentials. What is that file name actually? Exactly. Login credentials, right? Login. Capital, small. Capital. Yeah. Sorry. Login credentials dot XML. Without this, we should not proceed. Okay. So, am I correct? CREDENTIALS dot XML. So this is going to be our file. If without this file, we are not supposed to go forward. So let's end this at the end itself. So that is the first if condition. So we need to end it at the end only. So for this, we need to add one more else condition saying that fail to decrypt that file. Here you are going to add that failure scenario. Okay, whatever the rules we will follow for else condition, you need to follow the same thing. Okay, and here we are going to set the status inside our closed ticket. What is that output we are generating here? We are not generating any output. So inside to the log file itself, you need to. So here, in this particular process, we are not generating any output file. We are just setting the status to closed. Here we have only two options. One is open tickets and closed tickets. Once after completing the end of our process, just we need to enter that. Just we need to enter that closed ticket status inside that closed ticket. Okay. So for that, what we will do one thing. We will two things we can do. Here we have the output is our send mail. Once after completing closing the ticket, we have to send mail. Or if you have got any errors also, you need to send mail. We can do either of the things. So for now, we will add it to our log file, and if if requires, we will send a mail also. Okay, we will send a mail saying that failed to decrypt your login credentials. Okay, like that we will give you an output. Okay, for now I am just adding that login thing, just logging that message to my log file. Okay, so here I'm going to copy whatever I said to do inside else condition. I'm just going to copy that from our stack value calculator. I don't want to code it again. So sorry. Read input Excel here. So here we have one else condition. Okay. So this one I'm going to use one comment and Control C to our login credentials. Okay. So this thing we are not calling anyway. If you want, you can send mail also, and you need to change this to fail to decrypt login credentials file. Okay. Sorry, we don't have variable. Let me assign it to here. We are not setting any status also. In case if we plan to change that, if we are planning to send as a mail also, so we need to have a status. Okay. So let's have it and assign it to that status. STR status. Okay. So let's pass that message only. Don't need to. Okay, STR status itself here directly instead of typing each and every time. Where is that? STR status. Okay. So now, so this is going to be error info. We got some error inside our decryption. Okay. So error. Change it to error. Just to identify directly by saying that particular line. Okay. So this is how we are going to do. Just add those log comments here somewhere. Okay, completed decryption. Okay, and just copy the same line. You need to change the lines inside. Okay, just one line. Info, change it to info and the line. Completed decrypting that file, whatever. So I just add those lines and I will send this HTML file. You are going to add. Wherever I am copying it, you need to add it over there. Okay. So here I need here after reading, completed, getting reading login credentials information and assign to variables like that. Okay. Okay. So other thing is here once after completing our login thing. Okay. Here I need, and after launching here also, before launching and after launching. Okay, you are going to add all the log comments. And the next thing we need is, okay, so once after logging in, we got everything now. We got our credentials. We provided our user ID password over here, and then we have clicked on our submit button. So we need to check. So if you see our design page, where is it? Somewhere I have stored it. Okay, I think. Okay, inside somewhere over here. Yeah, this one. So as I said, we completed logging, but we need to confirm whatever the exceptions we need to handled by our exception handler. Okay, anyway, if you got anything unexpected thing, it is going to be handled by our exception handler. Anyway, if you want to add more, it is going to fail. If you want to add those conditions also, but not required actually. Okay, it is our developer thing. That's why we have reading it from the configuration file. So anyway, we are going to get it. If you want, you can add that if condition, one more if condition over here. Okay, like if all the files are exist, like credentials files. Okay, usually we are right now in the current process, whatever we are doing, before we plan one more ATMX file, which is going to be common for all the processes. Like if you have any files like configuration file we are using, let's say for example we are using input file, any files in our process or any other process, we are designing a reusable code, so it is going to check whether all the files are exist in the specified folders or not. Let's say you have developed now. Okay, before running any task, any process. So in our company and in my team, so we plan to create a generic task. So if you provide whatever the folder structure you are going to create, you need to provide the folder names, because this is going to be common for each and every process. This thing up to my tasks, it is going to be common. Just it is going to change from process to process. So we need to provide inside an Excel sheet. We are planning to provide one user access control, this folder name and this folder name. Okay, so it is going to check whether the folder structure is correct once after a deployment, and in my task also. Anyway, it is going to be same because I am going to create. But in case once after deployment, if the folder structure got changed, if somebody changed anything, so it will give you an output like that. Not only for folder structure, it is going to check all the input required files. So in the next row, we will provide files. Okay, based on the type of action. Like first thing is folders. Instead of giving each and every if condition in my tasks, like we have given if folder exists, if file exists, anything, to eliminate all these conditions, what we are going to do is we are going to create a generic task. So it is going to check whether the files exist or not, whether the folders exist or not. Whatever the folders you are going to give inside that Excel, it will read it from there and it will check it directly. So generic task. From the we are going, let's say you create it. Okay, I will give you an assignment for now, for today. So take an Excel sheet and create Excel sheet. Okay, let's create it. We also create it from ourselves. Let's create that task. Sorry. So let's create it by this Excel sheet. Let's note down those column names. Okay, let's note down the header names first. Let's note down. You are going to create it now. Okay, so let's have it as priority. First column name is going to be column header, is going to be priority. The next thing is going to be action. The next thing is going to be let's say elements, items. These three things we are going to do. Okay, so you are going to create. Priority means mandatory or optional. Like let's say for example in temp file, whatever the files we are going to use, we are generating the real time itself. If that file exists or it does not exist, it doesn't matter to us. So you are going to give if it is optional thing. Okay, if it exists, okay, fine. If does not exist also, fine. If it is optional, over in the first row, in the okay. If it is mandatory over here, so and if it is a folder, action is folder. Okay, we need to have the same folder structure whenever we are going to run our task. This folder. So here we will provide our folder structure, whatever the folders we are created. One process may have 3, one process may have 4, one process may have 5 folders also. Okay, so you need to provide all the folder names with comma separated values. Okay, so next, like that same thing, files, and whatever the files you are going to use, file names with extensions, you need to give comma separated values. So this is just a use case you are going to do now. Otherwise, it's a simple process. Okay, like what we're going to check before that, system performance. How much system performance you need for your particular process, like RAM or anything. If you have anything specific, you need to going to provide, like CPU performance. If it is increasing above 60% or 70%, task manager. So it's going to be complicated one, but just write how much you can do it for your performance. You're going to see our performance over here. Okay, CPU utilization. Okay, just try it. All these things prerequisite is to run one process. Okay, okay, let's not add that. It's a complicated thing. We are not going to do now. Whatever the things we are going to check before that, files, folders, and we need to check what we'll check before that. Any system services. If you are using any application, and if you are installing any application, it is going to use some services. If the services needs to be in the running mode, let's check that also as a prerequisite. Okay, so many things. Let's say for today, let's try these two. First two actions. Both are mandatory only. Okay, both are mandatory. Just add it comma separated and just check it. Create a task. Whatever the values I am going to provide inside my item with comma separated, you are going to extract and you are going to check using this folder. Inside this folder, you are going to check these files. If that file exists, give as true as output. If not, false. Just try this use case. Okay, it will be useful. Anyway, just leave it. It's not our content now. For now, we will do it in the future if requires. Okay. So the next thing is what we are do. Just I have added comments. I have added log files. Comments also we need to add in each and every place. Okay, let me add it. Before this, what this if block is going to do here, once after logging, providing username, okay, providing password, comments, what it is comments are going to do, and then that's it. Okay, so we have one more thing to do now. So according to our requirement, we need to check that whether the confirmation from the website. This thing we need to do now. So let's add it. Once after logging in, what we are going to get here, that we need to. So before that, if you got any login credentials now, okay, let's do it first. We are going to add two conditions now. One is incorrect credentials. We are going to try second time. If the second time also we are failing, we have to end the process. Okay. So as I said, why we are using this max limit? You know, right? So we need to loop two times. To exit our loop, we need to our condition to be success. We need to get success condition. That means our part should move to next screen. Okay. If it is going, we need to exit this loop. Otherwise, we need to try one more time. Okay. To try one more time. So first give that positive scenario, because in most of the times we are going to get the positive scenario only in the first case itself. So let's try that. Let's give that positive scenario first. What is this? Error again?
Okay.
Anyway, so we are not, it is not, these are unexpected scenarios. So we are going to add plus or minus 2 days or 3 days for our development. Plus 3 days. In real time also we used to get these kind of scenarios. Okay, like failed in credentials, getting access delayed, okay, getting approvals, all those stuff you will get it. So whenever if you get any process to automate, definitely if they are asking you to give your estimation how many days it is going to do the development, once after reviewing your BRD, they will ask your estimations within how many time, what is the time limit you want. Okay, so plus or minus, plus, sorry, not minus, definitely plus or plus 3 days. Whatever you think, you need to add 3 more days. And say, don't say them like, what if something goes wrong, or I thought, if they are saying that you are taking 3 more days extra, 3 or 4 days extra, you will not tell them like, I may get these kind of issues. You just say them like credentials issues, testing, for testing purpose, to test fully and to add more extra exception analysis like that. Okay, to analyze it fully, I need at least 2 days like that. It is, you need to convince them, because we are going to get these kind of scenarios in real time also. Definitely we will get it. Okay. So anyway, what we will do now without this? సరిపోయింది, అక్కడ లేడు ఇక్కడ లేడు, ఇప్పుడు క్లాస్ ఎలా అయిపోవాలంట. Okay. Anyway, okay. Let's talk about that use case, whatever we are going to plan. Whatever we plan to do one use case, right? Okay. Let's try that. It's a complicated one, not that easy like this process also. It is a complicated process, but it is going to be useful for everyone. For each and every process, you can make use of it. Just they need to fill that Excel sheet and they need to call it. It is going to work for them also. So create a generic task. So for this, creating reusable components, whenever you are planning to create any reusable component, that means you should not use any hard-coded value. Let's say, for example, reading data from Excel sheet. Almost each and every process will have that. For example, for the last value calculator also we have, in this process also we have. If we would have eliminated that header information, whatever the header thing, in the previous task itself, if we plan to keep that inside our configuration file, whatever the headers we have used over there, if we moved those two, whatever the headers, into our configuration file, it is going to, we are going to use the same task, because it is same thing, right? Just we need to change the headers inside our configuration file, and we are calling the same task. Just the only problem here is assigning variables. That's why we won't automate it, because for each and every process the variables are going to be different. So for that purpose, those things are, we don't create any reusable components, because it should, we need to be clear, because as I said in the first class, if somebody reviews our code, it should be like reading a story according to the BRD. So so that's why we won't create them. But some cases like checking part, in the last those things we can do. Like just now we have discussed, this is going to be common. So it will eliminate all this stuff wherever we are going to provide. If file exists, if folder exists, like conditions, so we can eliminate all those stuff. It will reduce our development time also. Once if it is created, so the first task itself, it is going to check all the conditions. Okay, it will give you one output. If it is mandatory, it will give you output. So we will not start our process itself. We will say that something is wrong with the system or the folder structure is wrong. We will give that output based on the conditions. So it is a complicated task. If you want to do, you can do it. So the requirement should be 3 tasks, 3 lines. We will add it one more column also if required. So the idea to create that particular use case is
like
one thing.
Username, password is wrong. Next time his username is
yeah. So that you need to analyze. That we need to analyze over here. Let's say, for example, here something we got wrong. We got some other screen. If we are giving user ID and password, something user ID is wrong or password wrong, anyone, we may get some different message box as output. So you need to check all possible scenarios. If user ID is wrong, we will try to re-type again. If password is wrong, we will type it. If both are wrong or anything, just we will try 2-3 times before going to the robot operator to give any output to him, like credentials are wrong, just change the credentials or anything like that stuff. Understood. Okay. So let's analyze those 2 things and we'll stop it by today. Just the end of. Just we'll add 2 more conditions and we'll stop it. So the first thing is, if window exists, open tickets. If it is changing the window name to open tickets, we need to give user access portal only. So we cannot identify with the same thing. Okay. So we need to go by our object property itself, because the window name is same for both the things, for login and this stuff, for this next window. So object properties to identify accurately. So let me identify using our object properties. Okay. So and the name is going to be Qt Insurance Portal, and the one is, if you want to use this or anything, if you want to use this table. Okay. So let's add it, because let's say, because it is not identifying the exact names. If you see, because we are using our GoToMeeting is in between, so it may give us those kind of issues. But once after closing that, definitely you're going to get exactly. We are failing to capture that exactly, because the first screen is GoToMeeting screen is there. Before that, we will get these kind of issues whenever you are sharing using AA. We will get these kind of issues usually. So if I close it, definitely we're going to get exact values captured by it. Okay. So just try it afterwards, because the properties also, it is not showing exact if you observe. So it is showing password kind of thing. That means something like that. Okay. So you're gonna edit these 2 also. Just I will add it and I will leave it like this. Okay. So if it is not happening, that means we need to exit our loop. So you are going to add one more condition, comment, and these 2 things. Login successful over here, and you need to exit that loop. Exit. Where is it? Loop. You need to exit. Otherwise, we need to try it. If you want, you can capture that one also. Fail. This is one scenario. What if we got login credentials window itself? This is going to check. Okay. So you need to check either way. So if I change this to, let me and try it again. So if I got credentials wrong credentials from the configuration file, or if they have changed those credentials, so we are trying, as I said, we are going to try 2 times. If you want to try 3-4 times, you need to just change one value over here. You need to change this max limit value. If you change it to 3, it is going to try 3 times. If you change it to whatever the number, it is going to try that many number of times. If you want to try it once, you need to change it to 1. Depends. That's why we kept that one outside. Okay. So if you are getting that same problem again and again, so if I change this password wrong, if I change it to wrong, so we are going to get this thing. I think the server is too slow today. It's taking so much time.
Condition success.
Success.
Open ticket.
If you want, you can add this also. Anyway, if it is failure, depends on application. If you are getting any message kind of things, because if I try to enter again, it will allow us for this particular thing. For this particular thing, it is going to allow us. But in some applications, you will get a message kind of thing. It will not allow until unless you are going to click on OK. It will not allow us to continue if you are not going to click on OK. So in those conditions, what we are going to do, we will identify that using our object loading if object properties, and we will click on OK. Then it will go to the start of that loop. So we are going to add, you are going to add else if condition. This is the positive scenario. So the next thing is else if object properties. Else if, so, and object properties, same thing. And you are going to capture that message box which you are getting over there, like this. Let's say, for example, in this here we need to add anyway. Here I need to add that. Okay. Just add it. If you want else if condition with object properties, so whatever the message box we are getting it, just add it. If I am getting this particular kind of thing, error contact admin, this kind of thing. Okay. What it is going to do? In this scenario, our application itself is allowing to enter. So pop-up messages వస్తే ఏంటంటే ఆ మెసేజ్ పైన క్లిక్ చేసి ఎంటర్ చేయాలి. సో అలాంటి కండిషన్లో ఇంకోసారి ఎల్స్ ఇఫ్ కండిషన్తో యాడ్ చేసుకుంటాం సింపుల్గా. ఓకే ఓకే సేమ్ లాగ్ ఫైల్స్ యాడ్ చేసుకుంటాం. సో ఫర్ దిస్ ఈజ్ ఎనఫ్. ఐ థింక్ ఫర్ నౌ ఫర్ అవర్ టాస్క్ దిస్ ఈజ్ ఎనఫ్. If you got positive scenario, well and good. Otherwise, it is going to try next time. It will go to the start of that loop. It will get a user ID, password. Again, it will click on submit, and it is going to check that condition positive scenario. If we are getting it right, then it will move. It will exit the loop. Otherwise, we are going to stop that particular process. Anyway, we need to stop that particular process. So for that purpose, so you need to add one more condition saying that even after trying 2 times, it will go there. So you need to change that value to int success value to 0. Okay. To stop processing to the next record. This is what we will use. Int success is very much important. So if I changing this int success, when I am going to call my next task, I will check if int success is equal to 1. But here I have changed it to 0. So it will not call any of the tasks. For all the tasks, we are going to use the condition itself. Whenever I am going to call the task, I am going to check if int success is equal to 1 or not. Okay. Here we are getting something wrong, so I will change it. In the second condition itself, you need to change it. Just remember, not for the first step. Okay. This will be wrong. If your counter, just create one more counter variable over here. Okay. Int counter. Okay, and the initial value is 0 as usual. Okay, so I will increment it. Whenever I am going to loop it, I am just incrementing it. If it is equals to 2, that means, so whenever it is going to try for the first time, the value is going to be, int counter value is going to be int counter plus 1. This is one time when it is trying for the first time. When it is going to try for the second time, it is going to be 2. So the next condition we are going to add over here is if, that means it failed twice. If f2 int counter is equals to 2, that is our max limit. Understood? Then we need to stop our process. We should not continue. So the else condition again comes to picture. Whatever the things we did over here, we are going to do it here also. Okay? We are going to stop that process. Everything, each and everything we are going to do. Int success to 0, failed due to invalid credentials,
Invalid attempts.
invalid anything. After number of attempts also we have failed to log in. For same message to our log file, and we are going to stop that process. If you want, you can take a screen capture for this particular thing. Before stopping it, just to try to capture that screen so that it will be a proof for you. You can show it to them. These kind of things also we do usually. So I am going to capture my video. So it's like a proof. We can show them like, yes, capture desktop, and you need to specify that snapshot location. Okay. So where we are going to store it? Inside our my docs. Okay, this is the last command we are going to do. We already lost so much. లాక్ ఫైల్ అక్కడ ఉంటుంది, ప్రూఫ్ ఉంటుంది, కానీ ఇది ఎక్కడికి ఏంటంటే కరెక్ట్ పిక్చర్ వస్తుంది నీకు. ఇంకా అది జస్ట్ మన రోబో రాసింది అది. సో ఇట్స్ లైక్ ఎ ప్రూఫ్, యూ కెన్ షో దట్. సో స్నాప్షాట్ ఎనీవే ఐఎమ్ గివింగ్ దిస్, బట్ ఇన్స్టెడ్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు గివ్ హియర్ యాస్ సేమ్ థింగ్, snapshot F2 snapshot name. If we have snapshot name over here, pause snapshot name. The next thing is snapshot path. Up to automation anywhere. Okay. Here it is going to be snapshot path. Snapshot path, and at the end, in the starting till here, AA application path. And if overwrite files and folders, this is going to be, it is going to give the snapshot. Two things we are going to get as a proof to show them, yes, we got invalid credentials. Okay. Yeah, this is our login screen. So from tomorrow I will make sure the server is up and all the time, what in our during our session anyway. I will try to ask them. So we will continue tomorrow. Okay. This is going to be, so I will share this screen. Can you please ping your mail or any contact? Sure. I think sorry for that. So just I will send you a mail box anyway. This task I am going to give you, just need to add all the comments and all the task files. Sorry, all the log files and all the comments I want you to add. Tomorrow I am going to use that file only. Don't change anything except these two. If you want to try it, just copy the task to your local and you do. Okay. At least in one task you try to add it. In the next task, if you want to do any experimental things, just copy the same code by using control A, control C, and just do it in yourself. Okay. Okay. Thank you all.